The Discovery Financial Planning Summit 2017, and this is my review and whether I got value from it or not in under 15 minutes. Hi, my name is Francois du Toit. I'm the owner of Francois du Toit and Associates. We specialize in the business of financial planning, and we do that through training, consulting and branding for financial advisors. So yesterday I was able to attend the Discovery Financial Planning Summit, the first time I've ever attended. And I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of my personal experience and also whether I got value from this or not. So first of all, it was a very early registration, 7 o'clock in the morning. Got there at 6:30 and they allowed me to register at that time. So well done Discovery for not keeping me waiting until 7 o'clock. It was extremely cold yesterday morning. Well, not extremely, but it was cold, and I really appreciated that you did that. So there was a few of us that could register. So thank you for over-delivering on that. We really appreciate it. The entire event ran pretty much on time. I think it was just done excellently by everybody involved. So well done on that. There was one presentation that ran 10 minutes over time, but that was just before lunch, and it was quite an important topic. So we can forgive you for that. Then the Master of Ceremonies, Bruce Whitfield, an excellent job. Well done, Mr. Whitfield. Great questions as always. I mean, you do this for a living. So just absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed hearing you engage with all the speakers. So job well done. Then the panel discussion facilitators was Vusi Tembakwayo. Just love him. I think he's brilliant. Not afraid to ask the hard questions. He gets to the point and really excellent facilitator. As well as Siki Mkhabadeli. Sorry if I got that surname wrong, but excellent job at running the panel or to facilitating the panel that she handled. Job extremely well done. So as far as the speakers are concerned, first up was Adrian Gore, the CEO of Discovery. He had a talk that he did around how we used to survive in the old days. I'm talking about billions of years ago, and how we're doing it today, and why certain things have been happening. So this is, I'm just going to give you the highlights now. It might be a little bit out of context because you don't know the entire speech, but I don't have that much time to share all of that with you. But the three main things that I took away from it was that, having a negative sort of approach to something, like in the old days, to survive, they started looking for negative signs, so that if they hear lions or some carnivore, they wouldn't go there because they got killed that way. So they started looking for the negative signs. Now the thing with negative sign is that it's a primitive way of thinking, of surviving, and that's why it's so easy. It's what we've been doing for many years. On the other hand, to look for positive signs, and for the positive when things seem to be very bad, that is sophisticated, and that is why it is so hard for us to do. So I think that was quite a strong message that came through. And then there was a lot that he shared, and it was really a 45 minutes that flew by. But a last thing that he left us with is that, yes, people are living longer, but we're living sicker. So that is quite an important insight to take into account when doing clients' retirement planning. Next up was Isabelle Mateos Lago. She's the Chief Multi-Asset Strategist at Blackrock Asset Management. And she spoke around investments and the investment environment and so forth, specifically the global markets. And the main thing that came out that they are mainly in a reflation environment, and that they're actually very positive about what can happen and also around emerging markets and so forth. But as you'll see later on, there's certain things in South Africa that we obviously need to address in order to partake in this or to really benefit from this situation. And one of the highlights for me of the day was Moshe Tamir. He is the Global Head of Digital Transformation at Generali. I made so many notes on his talk, but maybe it's my passion for technology and how we can use this in business. But just a few things, just 4 things that he sort of mentioned. So the first thing is that social media is the number one activity that people are participating in online. So on the internet, social media is the number one activity. The other big thing is that we humans, adults, children, spend 6 hours per day on social media, the internet and mobile. 6 hours a day. That's 25% of the day we spend on our mobile phones and on the internet and doing social media. That was quite remarkable. And then the last thing is that in Europe, when you go through the sales process, 4 out of 5 touch points with a client, before they buy, actually happens online. 4 out of 5. That means 80% of the interaction, the touch points, the sort of information, all of that stuff, that happens online. Something to keep in mind. And how do we go forward and sort of use that as well, to get into or to rather stay sustainable and stay ahead of the curve. For me, the most value in the day came from the panel discussions. It's also something I would advise anybody that is trying to do that wants to present these kind of sessions, is to maybe include more Q&A, questions and answers. I think that way there's a lot of value in it, people discussing certain things, questions being asked, getting different viewpoints from people that's been through situations and through stuff. I think that is very, very valuable. But anyway, so the first panel discussion was a panel of leading international financial planners from the UK. They were Mark Duckworth, the CEO of Openwork, Bolam, director of BolamRose, and then Gary Plein, co-founder and principal of Aspire Independent Financial Planners LLP. And they basically spoke about the situation pre-RDR and post-RDR. I mean, they've been 3 years, about 3-4 years past RDR. I think RDR came at the end of 2012 in the UK. And they just sort of shared some numbers to say that in the UK before, and they've got pretty much similar sort of population than what we've got, and they had 33,000 financial planners or advisors, and post RDR, because of everything that was implemented, there was 22,000 left. So at the moment, there's about 22,000 financial advisors in the UK practicing. But the income increased. The average income was about £98,000 per advisor before RDR. Now it is about £150,000 per advisor. All right. So I hope I got that number right. I can't remember if it was 150 or 170. But anyway, nonetheless, the income increased substantially post RDR. And there's quite a few reasons for that. So at the moment, they estimate there's about 179,000 financial advisors in South Africa. So if we look at a similar fallout, we might be left with 125,000. They did not speculate on the average income per advisor, and they said that's left to be seen. But yes, I think that was some great insights, and just to get this very positive message from them that everything is not doom and gloom. It's actually for the better. It's just that we're afraid because we don't know what to expect. And if we can take anything from the UK, we don't have much to fear. It was very good. Bill Bachrach, I've been following him for a while. He's an author and financial advisor trainer from America. Excellent at what he does. And he sort of was talking about the trusted advisor. But his key message was that we must not forget as financial advisors that each one of our clients are running their own race, meaning they've got their own issues, their own needs, their own goals, their own way of doing things. And it is up to us as financial planners to really, really understand what that means for that person. And then one key message that he gave was that a trusted advisor is someone that gives bad news, even if it puts the relationship at risk. Very powerful. It was an excellent session. I've watched a lot of his videos. Really a great guy. And he's helped thousands of financial advisors across the world. So go check him out. Then up just before lunch was Caroline de Silva. She was the head of the deputy executive officer of the FSB. And she gave a regulatory update on where we are with RDR in the different phases. And also she sort of discussed new legislation that's going to come. The fact that they are managing 13 pieces of legislation. And now that Twin Peaks are coming, when they change it to the Market Conduct Authority, they are looking to combine those 13 pieces of legislation into one piece of legislation, which absolutely makes sense, I think. And they're looking at the first draft legislation by the end of July 2017. Yes, in 2 months' time. So they're really moving ahead on this. And then the other big thing she sort of pushed quite hard was that transformation is very high on the agenda of the FSB. They have to look at transformation. So you can expect more on that front as well. We had lunch in true Discovery style, very healthy, very clean, excellent. It was good. So thank you for that. I think it was a great lunch. After lunch, we had another panel discussion. A group of leading investment banking people or specialists that were on the panel. First of all was Colin Coleman. He's the head of investment banking at Goldman Sachs for their sub-Saharan division. Then we had Nazira Mula, economist and strategist at Investment Asset Management. And we had Etienne Leroux, who's the chief economist for RMB, Rand Merchant Bank. And basically, it's difficult to sort of highlight what the story was. Each of them gave a 10-minute keynote, if you will. And they all sort of touched on the same kind of things. But I think the thing is that we can go one of two ways. Okay, so if certain things happens in December, because at the moment, actually politics, I think Colin mentioned it, that politics are very numb, or rather business and the markets are very numb to politics. So, changes in the political environment does not impact on the markets as much as it used to in the past. It's also that it's become the new norm. We expect things to be volatile in that space. But what's important is that I think the key message that came from that is that, listen, okay, so depending on what happens in December when Jacob Zuma's presidential term ends, where we go from there will determine whether we're going to go into an up cycle or we're going to go into a down cycle for quite a substantial amount of time. I mean, they were talking about 2 decades. So, I mean, it's a very serious point where we are. But as it stands now, right at the moment, things are still okay. And they gave a lot of information and numbers and stuff to sort of support why things, why the Rand have not slipped that much and why it's actually strengthened. All of that kind of thing. And so I think it was a very, very good session with the ultimate agreement, I think, being that, if you really want to kickstart the economy, we've got to create a favorable business environment. And it's my view that the issue is not, things like interest rates. It's not politics. It's really around the labor legislation, because, it's just not conducive. And I think that is a big reason why we are not employing people, why we are not pushing business as far as we can, why businesses are not investing, So I think that is quite a big thing, because once you employ someone, they don't perform, you can't get rid of them, or you can't get rid of them easily. And definitely it comes at a price if you want to get rid of someone. I think there's people that's made a career out of that. So that's my view. I think very, very important. But it was an excellent panel discussion, got a lot of value from it, excellent. Then they had a pre-recorded interview of Warren Buffett that was done by CNBC Africa. It was good. It was okay. And, pre-recorded session. I don't really think that's so great, but I can also understand that he himself couldn't be there, but maybe we could have gotten another speaker that was maybe as well known and as powerful or as good. But anyway, so that was it. And then John Flismus, the comedian and commentator, ended the day for us. Just make people laugh after a very busy day. So over and all, my view, it was absolutely worth it. Definitely got a lot of value from it. You will never get value from each and every single session or each and every speaker at such a big event. But I think kudos to Discovery getting a room full of 2,000 advisors at month end. Absolutely brilliant. So people are definitely getting value. The other big thing that I want to mention is that at no point was there any product push. Nothing. No products, no ideas, no nothing. And that I think is spot on. This was bringing value to financial advisors to bring them up to date with what is happening, in the environment that we need to operate in. So over and all, I'll say 8 out of 10. Brilliant. Will I be back? I think so. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.